Who were the Berserkers Part 2? Their ultimate goal was to transform into a wolf or bear. Berserkers did more than intimidate through their lack of armor, they also transformed themselves mentally. Berserkers assumed the mental identity of the predators they sought to emulate. Literally, the goal of the berserker in battle was to assume the identity and characteristics of a bear or a wolf. In fact, becoming a wolf or bear was the ultimate goal of all the drugs, drinking, and ritual in which the berserkers partook. Living in the woods, emulating these animals served as preparation for the transformation, as did entering a frenzied state. One of the final rituals on this path entailed drinking the blood of a bear or a wolf. Icelandic Viking saga Egil's saga Skallagrimssonar describes a berserker quite literally turning into a bear. Men saw that a great bear went before King Hrolf's men, keeping always near the king. He slew more men with his forepaws than any 5 of the king's champions. Blades and weapons glanced off him, and he brought down both men and horses in King Hjorvard's forces. And everything which came in his path he crushed to death with his teeth, so that panic and terror swept through King Hjorvard's army. Their transformation was so drastic Norse sagas describe berserkers as shapeshifters. In Norse legend, to go berserk was to hamask, which translates as change form. Those who changed form by entering berserker gang were considered hamrammer, or shape-strong. In some cases, berserkers are described as undergoing drastic physical transformation, though this is no doubt in part hyperbole. Still, in Icelandic tale Egil's saga, it's written, the hardest of men, with a touch of uncanny about a number of them. They were built and shaped more like trolls than human beings. In his Ynglinga saga, Icelandic poet and historian Snorri Sturluson describes the berserkers thus. His men rushed forward without armor, were as mad as dogs or wolves, bit their shields, and were strong as bears or wild oxen, and killed people at a blow, but neither fire nor iron told upon them. This was called berserker gang. So, apparently eating shields was just something berserkers did across the board. Their maniacal behavior would completely shock foreign troops. Scandinavian kings such as Harald and Halfdan used berserkers as shock troops, or the advance attacking group in a battle. This served two purposes. It cleared the way for the army to follow, and struck fear into the hearts of enemies. Berserkers were also closely associated with Odin. Thus, sending berserkers into combat as the avant-garde may have curried favor with Odin. They were also occasionally used as royal bodyguards. They went so mad the Vikings eventually outlawed them. The first mention of berserkers was in a Norse poem about the first king of Norway, Harald Fairhair, who lived from 860 until 940. The poem mentions a warrior gang and Harald's army fighting while clad only in animal skins. However, by 1015, Norway had officially outlawed berserkers. The legal codes of ancient Iceland also specifically mentioned berserkers, branding them outlaws. By the 12th century, berserkers in any organized force or military presence had virtually disappeared. As you may or may not know, a lot of behaviors commonly ascribed to Vikings have little historical connection to ancient Norse society. The classic image of the raping and pillaging Viking party appears in descriptions of berserker behavior. In Gesta Benorum, turn of the 13th century Danish historian Saxo Grammaticus wrote, "The young warriors would harry and pillage the neighborhood, and frequently spilt great quantities of blood. They considered it manly and proper to devastate homes, cut down cattle, rifle everything and take away vast hauls of booty, burn to the ground houses they had sacked, and butcher men and women indiscriminately." And more specifically, about their psychotic sexual exploits. So outrageous and unrestrained were their ways that they ravished other men's wives and daughters. They seemed to have outlawed chastity and driven it to the brothel. Nor did they stop at married women, but also debauched the beds of virgins. No man's bridal chamber was safe, scarcely any place in the land was free from the imprints of their lust. Like and follow for Part 3.